This is outside the Appleyard Cottage. You can see there's lots of people here to honor the grand opening ribbon cutting. And there's the man of the hour, John Appleyard, mayor, former mayor, Buzzer team. This is so cool. So this is the Appleyard Storytelling College. Just so neat, so perfect.
Welcome everybody, my name is Collier Merrill. I am the Vice Chair of the University of West Florida Historic Trust. I've been formed in July, I'll be the Chairman, which is the village down here. And a quick background, the village has been here for a long time. Earl Bowden was the Chairman for about 150 years here and just did a fabulous job of preservation of these buildings, and with a lot of work with John Daniels and now all the way through our new director, Rob Overton. The village has been here doing its work, preserving these buildings, the Old Christ Church, the oldest church in the state of Florida. So much history here. One thing we haven't done a good job of, and I can say that because I've been on that board a long time as well, is with tourism. But if you look around today and see all the tourism that are here, I used to ask the question several years ago, you know, every day there's people in period costumes. Do you know how to get there? You know what to do? You know where to buy a ticket? And the answer was like, no, we don't. You know, you go to the hotels. You know where to buy a ticket? No. Well, that's all been changing big time since University of West Florida really has gotten involved with that and became part of the Historic Trust, helped to maintain these buildings. So you can buy tickets here. Now, T.T. Wentworth, go through the village. Every day, it's a big tourism place now. Downtown, there's tourism all the time. And the new interpretive plan that's happening, starting with T.T. Wentworth, going to open this whole area up. This street will probably be closed in the next, we're not announcing it yet, at some point, and open this all up, which is all the footprints of the forts, which were bound by Seville Square and Plaza Ferdinand. And as you know, tonight, if you've read about that, there's going to be a troop marching in there and lowering the flag. That's going to happen every Saturday night, right there where Andrew Jackson lowered the flag. The Spanish flag became part of the United States for the first time. And in 5 years, that'll be the 200th year anniversary on July 17th. So we're going to, every year we'll lead up to that, another big celebration coming here. But today, which fits right into what we're doing, I'm thrilled to be here part of this Appleyard Cottage dedication. And John Appleyard, a quick thing about John, and I think everybody knows John, but since he came here in the 50s and opened Appleyard HC in 1959, 56 years ago, he has been a great historian. He's the person to call to. And my quick example, about a month ago, speaking of the Galvez in Spain, the mayor was down here from the hometown of Galvez, and I had 3 people in my conference room. We were going to introduce them at a thing at T.T. Wentworth. And I said, when did they actually, in the battle, when did they actually come ashore? We know they did a sea battle for a while. When did they come ashore and start that? And everybody kind of looked around, and Maria Goldberg, who works with me, said, I'd call Mr. Appleyard. 100% true story. Put it on speaker, call the Appleyard agency. Lady knows me, you want Dickie? No, I'd actually like Mr. Appleyard if he's there. If he's there. He answered, hey, young man, what can I do for you? And I said, I'd love to talk to you. I got 10 seconds. I got on there. When did Galvez, after the sea battle, 100% true, when did they actually land onto the shore? And I know the battle started this and that, and I'll have this date wrong, so don't correct me, but it was this answer, this quick. Well, that attestation, he goes, well, that was January 17th at 4:22, 1781. I'm pretty sure it was a rising tide. And the moon was a harvest moon. The moon part I made up, but without a hesitation. Without a hesitation. Now, his son Dickie, a lot of y'all know Dickie, is also a storyteller.
Of a different type.
As you know, Dickie too, the truth should never get in the way of a good story. Unlike his father. But with that, I'm thrilled. This fits in with what's going to happen. If you haven't seen what's going to happen in here, and telling the story of downtown, and we're very lucky to have Mr. Appleyard now call us his hometown and dedicate a lot of his work's in here, and if you haven't seen it, you'll see it in a little bit. With that, I'd like to turn it over to the Executive Director of UWF Historic Trust, Rob Overton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for being here. You know, this is something that for me and the staff here is that we do as a labor of love every day, and we really love to share this. We haven't always been great at sharing these things, and I'm happy to see you here. This was an opportunity for us, a great opportunity that fit right in, as Collier said, into our interpretive plan of trying to make these assets that we have the pleasure of managing work harder for us, work harder for this community to tell this wonderful story, history that we have. Pensacola has a wonderful history and a very diverse history. We're not just one battle, one event. It's layers and layers of events from early Native Americans to the Spanish all the way to the space age, and that was the book that we worked on. So I'm glad that you're here. I want to tell you a little bit about the genesis of this project, and it started with a call from Dick. He saw our unveiling of some of our images from our interpretive plan and said, hey, I got an idea. We have in our possession, thanks to Cox Communications, 51, a little over 51, 52 videos of my father telling various stories of Pensacola. Everything from how the streets got their names, to Galvez and the Battle of Pensacola, to Andy Jackson coming in. Is there a place that we have downtown that we can put that out for people to see? So Dickie, let me get back with you. Call me back. I didn't give you a chance to get back with you. Call me back. He said, you thought of it. He said, we're working on something. Let me get back with you. A couple weeks later, I brought him down here, and we sort of did a walkthrough, and I said, I'm thinking about something. I'm thinking about taking this little cottage right down in the heart of this village and making it into the Appleyard Storytelling Cottage. And like the idea, so I did what any good director should do, is I turned it over to some creative people, because if we just had me, we'd have a TV on a TV stand with some folding chairs in there. We'd all patted ourselves on the back, said it was great. But I turned it over to our team, Alvarez Design team, Dick's team. Sue helped quite a lot, and the imagination of them, and this is what we got, and I could not be more pleased with it. With that, I want to introduce Dick, and thank you for your and family support today.
Thank you very much. So I'll try to be truthful in what I say, Collier. But as Diana and I grew up, a lot of the other kids were going to Disney World and all kind of great places. And we went to St. Augustine and to Williamsburg numerous times. But those great historic communities, a big part of it was you would always see a video when you got there to get you oriented toward the community and what you were going to see. And I kind of got intrigued by that. And a part of Dad's story that you don't know, he wasn't a big historian until about 460 years ago. A guy named J. McHenry Jones. No, we were founded at that time, not 460 years ago this time. But Dad was asked to do the quadricentennial, and he had a limited time period to get it done. They were behind in getting it done, and that's when he really focused on the history of our community and became an expert in it. And those of you who were here at the time, he built a Spanish village at what's now Villa Sabine. That's when land was easy to get out at Pensacola Beach, and it was easy to get there. Dad put that all together in a very short period of time, the successful quadricentennial, and since that time he became the community storyteller. So my idea was, we had spent many, many hours watching videos in other communities that kind of got you into what you're going to see. And I thought, well, look at all the history, but there's nobody telling the story, so you get the sense of it. And I kind of started with a few videos when I talked to Rob, and some place to show it, and they have absolutely exceeded my expectations. So at the beginning, Keith Gregory is here from Cox, and Keith and the Cox team really were the impetus of this by generating these 60-some-odd videos that Dad has done that you can see on Cox Communication right now. But anyhow, that's how it all got started. So we, as a family, are all here. So I want my sister and the rest of my family to come up while Dad says a few words about how he feels. And I would begin it by saying my dad's goal in the last years has been to interest others in history interest others in learning, interest others in storytelling. That's what he is focused on. He tells, I guess he gives about 200 speeches a year to various and sundry groups. He is Pensacola's storyteller, and I'll let him give you his impressions, and then we'll have the official opening of the Storytelling Cottage. So, Dad, up out of the chair. There we go. There you have it. His speeches used to last longer than it took him to get from his car to the podium. Now there's some debate.
Everything he said is true. Thank you all, first of all, for being here today and for taking the time to come and join us. It's a proud moment because, as Dick said, I have enjoyed being a storyteller now in Pensacola for the last 55, 56 years. And I've recognized that we have literally hundreds and hundreds of stories that are historic, but there are also potentials out there for thousands more as each of you begin to put together the tale of your own family, things that you have done. And you've often said to yourself, well, I'm going to get around to doing this one day, but somehow you hesitate. And I'm looking at one man right here now who has hesitated on that. The point is, if what we do here can accomplish two things. First, it is a place where it is going to be easy to come and literally, by pressing a button, sit down and watch and listen to at least one or two of the stories about our community. Secondly, we hope that this will be a stimulus to you and to young people to get interested in the history of our country and our history of our community, and also in learning to write. And as you will see as you step inside here, one of the points of encouragement here is to get young people to sit down and do that sort of thing. I'm going to take one extra 30 seconds on what Dick has given me to illustrate the point. About 3 months ago, I was invited to come to a school, a junior high school in Santa Rosa County, to talk to a group of students whom the teacher said had expressed interest in writing. Would I come and encourage them? So I came and we had a wonderful hour together, and I left and I thought that was the end of that. And about 2 weeks ago, a large volume arrived by post, and it was that thick. There were 67 stories in there written by students from the school with an amazing variety of imagination, and all very well done. And I said to myself, if we can get one school to do that, if we can get another to try it, this is the idea of getting people interested in doing it for themselves and for our community. There are so many stories to tell, and it's been my privilege to do that. And if I can take just a minute to itemize just a couple of ways. Over the last 17 years, I've had the privilege of having a daily fictional newscast on two of our stations here, and I'm so grateful to ESPN and then 1620 Radio for their willingness to do that. And as the video portion of it, as Dick has described how it all began, but I want to again thank Keith Gregory and also Paul Myers, the genius who has helped put all of these things together. You'll get an idea of a little bit of it in this 5-minute one that is running in there now. But as Dick said, there are 51 different titles, 91 different episodes, each 15 minutes long. And you'll be able to come in when this is all function, press a button and get the story of DeLuna or Areola or whatever. It's here for people to enjoy, and you can sit down and enjoy it, and literally in the comfort of a living room, and do it that way. So this is a community project, and our hope is that you and hundreds of others over time will come and enjoy this, that we'll have student groups arriving to do the same sort of thing, and that it all can work together under what Bob Overton and the others are doing down here and doing such a splendid job, because we have in this village an opportunity to, we may not be as large or as wealthy as Williamsburg, but we can do we might be right behind them in what we accomplish. So again, thank you all for coming today. We hope you will enjoy.
Instead of ribbon cutting, even though we have some huge scissors that I love using for something, we thought it would be appropriate. We have a book opening. So we've got one of Mr. Appleyard's books. If we could get the family, Mr. Appleyard and Collier, our board chairman, up, let's officially open the story on the storytelling cottage. Come on, Appleyards. Come on over.
Great grandson.
Rick, where are you? Here we go.
Come on, Rick.
I'm not sure how much of it.
So this is the Appleyard Storytelling Cottage as you walk in.
This area is